It was February of 1959. The Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union stood cold and silent, swallowing the sky in darkness. Snowstorms blurred the line between day and night. The cold didn't just bite the skin, it froze the soul. Yet 9 young hikers dared to challenge it. They were students from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, experienced mountaineers, dreamers, adventurers. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was a 23-year-old engineering student known for his discipline and precision. Together, they set out to conquer a peak called Kholat Syakhl, a name that, in the language of the local Mansi people, meant the Mountain of the Dead. To them, it was just a name. They didn't believe in legends. They believed in courage, and in each other. In the final days of January, the group began their trek. They carried cameras, journals, and a few days' worth of supplies. Their diaries were full of laughter and jokes. The photos showed smiles, snowball fights, and moments of joy. It wasn't just an expedition, it was a celebration of youth and friendship. But on January 28, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill. His legs hurt, and he could no longer keep up. He made the painful decision to turn back. He waved goodbye to his friends, saying, "See you in a few days." He didn't know that this farewell would save his life. 9 hikers continued forward, unaware that the mountain ahead would never let them go. By February 1, the weather worsened. The wind howled like a beast, and snow erased their path. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. In the blinding storm, they strayed off course and ended up on the north slope of the mountain, an open, exposed area. Igor Dyatlov made the call. "We'll camp here for the night." It wasn't a safe place. The wind was merciless, and there was no natural shelter. But Igor was confident, and the others trusted him. They pitched their tent on the icy slope. In their journals, one final note was written. "The wind is strong, but our spirits are high." Their last photograph showed smiles illuminated by the flash of a camera. After that, nothing but silence. Days passed. No radio contact. No word from the group. At first, no one worried. "They'll be delayed," people said. But as the weeks went by, worry turned to dread. Rescue teams finally set out into the frozen wilderness. On February 26, they found the campsite. And what they saw defied explanation. The tent had been slashed open from the inside. Inside were boots, coats, and all their belongings, untouched. But the hikers were gone. As if something had terrified them so badly that they tore their way out and ran into the freezing night, barefoot, half-dressed, and desperate. The first 2 bodies were found near the edge of a forest, beneath a tall pine tree. A small fire had been lit there. Both men were barefoot, dressed only in their underwear. Their hands were bruised, and branches above were broken, as if they had tried to climb the tree in panic. A short distance away, searchers found 2 more, Dyatlov himself, and another member of the group. They were lying face down in the snow, their hands reaching toward the campsite, as though they had been crawling back, and froze before making it. But the most disturbing discoveries came months later, when the snow began to melt. For more bodies were found deep in the woods. One had a fractured skull, with no sign of external trauma. Another's ribs were crushed, as if hit by an invisible force. One woman was missing her tongue. And traces of radiation were detected on their clothes. No signs of a struggle. No footprints of an attacker. No explanation. Authorities quickly closed the investigation. The final report was short and cold. The hikers died due to a compelling natural force. A natural force. But what kind of nature makes people tear open their own tent in terror? What kind of nature rips tongues from mouths without leaving a single cut? The area was sealed off. The case was labeled classified. And whispers began to spread. Some claimed it was a military experiment, secret weapons, sound tests, radiation exposure. Others said the group had seen UFOs that night, glowing orange orbs drifting silently across the sky. The local Monsi believed the mountain spirits had punished the intruders. No one could prove anything. 60 years after the tragedy, in 2019, Russian officials reopened the case. Their new conclusion: it was an avalanche. A small snow slide had struck the tent, causing panic. The hikers fled into the storm and froze to death. A simple explanation, but not a satisfying one. Experts pointed out inconsistencies. The slope was too shallow for an avalanche. No snow debris was found. And the internal injuries, the crushed ribs and missing tongue, still had no answer. Something had happened that night. But what, remains unknown. Today, the Dyatlov Pass remains eerily quiet. The snow covers everything, but not the truth. Adventurers still visit the site, setting up tents where the nine once camped. When night falls, the wind begins to whisper. Some say they hear faint screams carried across the snow. Others swear they've seen strange lights flickering between the trees. Perhaps the mountain remembers. Perhaps it never forgets. The lone survivor, Yuri Yudin, lived the rest of his life haunted by that night. He once said, "I wish I had stayed. Because not knowing is worse than death." Today, that place is known as Dyatlov Pass, named after the young man who led them there. The wind still carries their names across the snow. Dyatlov, Doroshenko, Krivonischenko, Kolevatov, Zolotaryov, Thibault-Brignoles, Dubinina, Slobodin, Kolmogorova. 9 souls, frozen in time. 9 questions, never answered. And one silent mountain, still guarding its secret.